And we'll see it load up here in a second. Ooh, how long has it been?
Maybe like 3 months. It's been a while. And it's been a while.
It's been a while.
But we're
it
back,
works out.
baby. Well, not yet.
Welcome to live chat. That's good.
Whoop, okay, starting.
Hello, Sam.
Sam,
We're
true
getting
fan.
the chat. I'm not getting the stream, but I assume that means it's working. Yeah, it is working. Good.
Hi, Seth.
Hello.
I don't remember you, but I will remember you now.
Ooh. Guess you're not too memorable with the most common YouTube profile picture on the planet. Yo, let's do our intro before we forget.
What's our intro again?
Just the standard.
Okay, just the standard.
The run-of-the-mill.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Taylosive Talks podcast. I'm your host, Louise Erickson, and I'm joined today by my lovely co-host, Andrew Erickson, who also happens to be my husband.
Just so happens. It was a coincidence. All things in the universe led to this exact moment. We are happy to be back. Yes. And we're happy that we're going to try to be more consistent about it, if possible. I think we said that last time, but it's effort, regardless. But yeah, we have a lot to catch up on, given we haven't done the Talks podcast in a while. There's just one angle today for those watching the live stream.
We're having cable issues.
Cables in this whole there's probably a bunch of cables that don't work, and I don't know which ones they are. So to keep it simple, I mean, the tech streams are one angle. I guess it's one person, but whatever.
Yeah, it's
Let's
okay,
keep it
guys.
simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
What do we have to catch up on? So we are still, despite us not podcasting for so long, we are still in our vegetarian challenge.
Yes.
And we're in the final stretch of it here. We've basically made it.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It's not a phase,
You don't know
Mom.
me.
Right.
Actually, it is a phase. We planned this for 3 months, so we're exactly 2.5 months in. We've got 2 weeks left, and then after that, we're free.
No, we can eat meat again.
Free
I'm looking forward to that.
I know you are.
I'm definitely going to just chow down on some burgers come July 1st.
Where's our first meal going to be?
Well,
you don't want to say the name.
Really, any place. I won't say the name, but there's a local place
with really good burgers.
With good burgers, not a chain. We'll keep it a secret.
And also, don't they have the huge basket of fries? Mm-hmm.
We can get that now.
Yeah, that's true. It's not as good though without the burger.
Fries. How would you describe fries without a burger? It's a different experience, I'd say. It's like a bed without the really thin sheet to cover your feet to keep the monsters from grabbing your feet at night. That's true. I've never related to that.
What?
People consistently I've held my foot over the bed.
You're brave. I would never.
I used to be afraid of things like that.
Hey, Randy.
Oh, Randy's in the chat. Yes, I agree.
And that's a good idea.
First meal. We haven't had In-N-Out in 2.5 months.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I've ever
has it been 2.5 months since Randy and Nick visited? Were we not vegetarian?
I think it's been more than that because
we went there together.
No, it hasn't been more than that. I
Really?
remember the very final day I handed the keys back was like the very last day of April.
Was it?
So it's
April, May.
We're only a month and a half away from there.
Wait, I'm so confused.
Ooh, fried chicken sounds good too.
So they were here before we were vegetarian, right? Because it was March?
Yeah, because it was a 3 month and we're coming up on the 3 month mark.
Aww.
So definitely.
Yeah. Randy's heart hurts.
That's why I'm getting mixed up.
What?
Nick and Randy left at the end of March.
Right.
We moved here the first day of April.
Right.
And then
it was first day of April we started the
It took
challenge.
us like a month to move out of the old place because of all the garbage we had to clean up.
Yeah, you had a lot of stuff.
Oh, I'm so glad we got rid of it all.
We had fun selling everything to all the crazy people in our town.
I'm so glad they got rid of all that stuff. We did. But we just had burgers.
Yeah.
You're constantly trying to trick me.
What?
I'm trying to be more pranky because I described this prank that I thought was horrible that I saw online. And when I told you what the prank was, you were like, you should have done that to me. I was like, no.
Because I don't know if I would have believed you, though. You openly speak to me about how you don't want to be in the military. Nothing against the military. It's just
I don't
not
have
for
anything
him.
against the military. Yeah, it's just I don't have any draw or interest in the military personally. But there's this prank thing going around that I've seen. Have you ever seen those prank couples online?
I don't understand how that works, though, because I would never trust my partner.
No, it wouldn't.
After the first prank, it's like, okay, well, now I'm expecting you.
Anything that's slightly out of the ordinary, you'd be like, oh, this is a prank. It wouldn't work. But
it's like he brings you a box of chocolates. I love you. What did you do to these?
Yes.
Are they filled with toothpaste?
I'm referring to the Drew Gooden video, who's another creator, and he basically did a hit piece on this prank, which I think is messed up.
Wait, he did a prank?
No, he did a hit piece on the pranking.
What does that mean?
This is, as in, he's calling out people who do this and
calling out all the pranksters.
Calling out you pranksters and saying, hey, this is messed up.
Yeah.
I bet if I would have played it completely straight and, didn't laugh, didn't grin at all, you would have believed it, I think. But I think you would have been really upset after the fact if you found out I was joking.
No, I'd be really relieved. I'd be like, thank God. You're not going.
Basically, for those who don't know how the prank works, it essentially is you falsely tell your girlfriend, or in this case my wife, that I've decided to enlist in the military. I guess since we're married, it wouldn't work that well. Because you'd be like, no, you're not. We're married. This is not going to work long distance.
No, married people do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually, though, we'd have to figure out how to live on base together or off base. I don't know how that works.
It's just a mean prank, though, because you just see the girls get all sad.
Girls deserve it.
And then
girls are evil. Seriously.
Okay, you speak for the girls.
I'm just kidding.
But
not all girls.
I just mean they get all upset, and then the boy gets even madder at them because they're like, "You should be happy for me. Why aren't you happy that I'm in the military now? You should be."
I'm supporting this country. What are you doing?
I'm defending the country, and she's just like, "But I want you to stay together," and that makes everyone go, "Aww."
Well, I guess I'd have to see it to see the true reaction.
She doesn't want him to leave. And one of them, he says, "This isn't a prank."
Is it just one guy, or is it a bunch of guys that are doing it?
There's 5 or 6 different pranksters that did this.
I feel like if you're a prankster couple and you see this, trend on YouTube, then why would you believe your boyfriend if he says he's going to the military?
I think there's a good chance it was entirely fake, and they just do this stuff for the views.
Yeah.
And maybe they're really good at
Here, let's do it right now. Prank me.
Okay. No one will tell that this is fake. Leading up to it. We did get a super chat, though. Let's answer that really quick.
Yes.
Lucas donated $1.99, and he said, "Ja got my iPhone 8. Ja got my iPhone 8 not too long ago, and Apple Music. Congratulations. Yay. Hope you enjoy."
Apple Music is great and also really expensive. We pay like $15 a month for Apple Music.
Yeah, but we're splitting it between... I mean, think about it. We get reimbursed from my dad, who's on our family plan. And if just you and me wanted our own individual plans, that would be $20 a month. So even if
I just listen to music on YouTube, honestly.
But that kills your battery. I always bring that up.
I haven't noticed it.
Well, it's because the 10R happens to have a very good battery. How has the 10R been for you so far?
Well, at first I was very hesitant.
Why were you hesitant?
To start using this. I don't know. It just looked and felt cheap to me. It reminded me of the 5C and looked like plastic. And just the vibrant color made it feel like a toy rather than a useful device. But it actually is very useful in my life. I love the Face ID. I love the gestures. It just makes everything easier, especially if you've got like a hand busy or something and you can't type in your code. You just got to look at it.
Yeah. No, I prefer Face ID every time. There was a guy who was able to put a face unlock on his Tesla.
What?
I saw a video on that. It was kind of interesting.
Wait, that's how he started the car? He just like...
Well, he unlocked it with his face.
How?
It's pretty simple software, though it's not that secure. Face ID is like super secure because it's got like dot projectors and it makes a 3D map of your face. This is like the basic Facebook face detection.
Is it on the car?
Yeah. He put some kind of software onto the Model 3 so because it's surrounded by cameras and there's a camera on the side pillar behind the driver door. So basically he could just walk up to it and the camera would see that it was his face and then the car would unlock.
Would he have to like physically put his face close to the camera, or he can just be far away, like 5 feet away?
I don't think he could be too far. He had to get pretty close, but it did work. It was an interesting
like a
video.
Cool concept. Well, you can unlock your Tesla from your phone, right?
Yeah.
With the Tesla app.
Mm-hmm.
So
it'll unlock automatically.
Oh, okay. So you don't even have to look at it, like Face ID on the Tesla
No,
app?
as soon as Model 3 picks up your phone's Bluetooth, it'll just unlock.
Well, then who cares about the Face ID thing?
Yeah.
You just walk towards your car.
That's true, too. That works a lot easier.
Right.
Lewis said if you're married, you can live together on base or get an allowance to live outside together. Depends on the location where you are stationed. So we're getting really into this prank here.
Yes. Tell us all about the military. Actually, we have friends in the military.
Randy. He could give us...
I don't think he's in the military anymore.
Well, he was.
We have Ross.
So he would have experience with it. Ross as well.
There's Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Which is our good friend who is moving to San Diego, where Randy does not live.
I don't think that's a secret.
Okay.
But
I just called him out.
Yeah, maybe they could meet up and be like, oh, so you were Drew and Louise's marriage counselor. Cool.
Two worlds colliding.
Worlds colliding. That would be cool to have them meet. Oh, well. Oh, Jeremy didn't come to our wedding.
No.
But Randy did.
Yeah.
So they almost met.
Almost.
They were close.
Well, Randy saw Jeremy's wife.
That's true. In
Not
a way.
Jeremy.
Yes.
I want to live in San Diego.
You do?
San Diego seems like a cool place, but
what
expensive.
do you like about it?
Good weather, good food, friendly people, I think. Maybe. I've never been there, so I don't know. But
friendly people, I don't know.
Chicken fat. That's such a funny name. Sorry. Now you're making me crave fried chicken.
Yeah, you love fried chicken.
I do.
You're trying to...
I don't know how I've restrained myself for all this time.
What's the term? Wean yourself off it?
Wean? Like I'm a baby?
I don't know what it's... What's the word I'm trying to think of?
I think
lean yourself?
Lean?
Leaning.
Lean on
Get yourself to not eat chicken as much, and the no meat thing has helped with that, but...
Yeah, definitely. I'm worried we ate out a lot before we were vegetarian, and we would go to this one diner, and I would always order the same thing. It was fried chicken, actually roasted chicken, which is like 1,000%. Bro. Roasted. Roasted chicken with a side of mashed potatoes and gravy. And it was just so good. It was like super salty, and then the gravy was just like a good complement to it.
Yeah.
Because it was less flavorful. And my mouth is watering talking about this. It's really weird.
Yeah, I miss it too.
But something that's really cool, I discovered, well, first of all, we've had Impossible Burgers. We created our own Impossible Burgers. And tastes like real meat. And then we also had meatless chicken nuggets, which, Drew, take it away. What do you think?
Meatless chicken nuggets are basically indiscernible from normal chicken nuggets. Like, they were so hard to tell the difference that when we bit into them, we immediately looked at the box again because we were like, are these meatless?
Yeah.
It made no sense. But what I have learned from this experience is that meatless companies have really figured out how to make meat that isn't meat.
Maybe that's because chicken nuggets aren't real meat to begin with. So maybe
that helps probably. That it's just kind of a mush.
It's kind of crazy though. They even made the right shapes. You know, if you go to McDonald's, they have like a boot shaped one, and then they have a circle one, and they replicated the shapes exactly. So I could bake that for someone and then give it to them, and they probably couldn't tell the difference between that and like a McDonald's chicken nugget.
If you would have taken the meatless nuggets and mixed them in with real nuggets in like a box of 20, I bet people would have a very hard time separating the two, even side by side, honestly. Though I'm also not very picky. That could be part of it. It could just be me and me not being very noticeable with food. To me, it's like, yes, crispy, good, and it tastes good, tastes like meat. But while we haven't had meat forever, it feels like we've been eating meat a lot because of all these meatless options, which taste just like it.
Yeah,
so it's not really
meatless hot dogs.
Yeah,
they're really good. Sorry if there's a tapping noise. I have
no idea what causes that. I can't really hear it.
Maybe because you're shaking the table.
Let me turn it up for a second.
Sorry if there's a tapping
noise. I have no idea.
Is it the...
I can't really
Maybe because you're shaking the table.
Let me turn it up for a second.
I hear it.
Yeah, I have no idea what's causing that.
Don't touch the table.
Okay, we won't touch the table. We'll
Let us know if it's better.
leave the table alone. Scott brings up he wants us to make a video on the food channel about being vegan.
Oh.
And that was a topic you actually wanted to bring up.
Dang, yeah, we should do that. So we wanted to start a new series on the food channel. And it's basically, Drew suggested meat reviews. So we just try all different kinds of meat, which it kind of counteracts all the good that we've been doing. But
I said that simply because I just want to eat meat right now.
Yeah,
that's my main reason.
My main goal?
My main goal is to eat meat.
And blow up. But yeah, we can do that. And then also we could do like a vegetarian version where we try all the fake meats. We could do real meat versus fake meat.
Ooh.
And see, I should cook it and then see if you can tell the difference.
I can already.
I feel like you could.
I could already imagine the clickbaity YouTube trending looking title.
Yeah.
We need us to go.
With like rainbow colors in the back.
With a bunch of, lights coming off our faces. We're just like, $40 burger versus $5 burger. Whoa!
You're making fun of what are they called? The Try Guys?
Just anything in trending is like that. It's like the juvenile humor of like everything's amazing and shocking.
Yeah. I wonder what
I ate food.
I think that's just like the average demographic of YouTube is like younger and younger.
It's the IQ graph. Have you seen that before? It's like you have a few people with the super low, and then you have a mass majority with this middle, and then you have a low number with the high IQ. And the YouTube trending is trying to hit that middle mark, the most amount of people.
What does that have to do with IQ?
Just people who are, I don't know,
average?
Not IQ specifically, but more like just like easily entertained or easily fooled. People who click subscribe simply because they were told to, that
it's
demographic.
It's crazy how easy that works.
To me, I know it works, but that's why I don't want to do it, is I don't want a giant demographic of my audience to be people who are like, oh, subscribe. Okay, I'll do it now.
Like mindless.
You know how the site works. I have enough sheep in my audience. I don't need more sheep. If
true.
If you don't need me to tell you to click the like button if you like the video, but certain videos like that. What's his name? Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
He always says click the like button like every video several times.
That's because he's trying to do his business.
And he constantly is in my recommended. Like
that's because you always watch his videos.
Well, his videos are exploding because he's getting so much engagement.
You're falling for it. It's like I spent $0 on a car or something.
I'm not falling for it. I just think I think it's funny.
You told me he had this video that had this really crazy title, and I watched it just to make sure it was not actually true. I was like, Drew, you're the ones.
He's like a living meme. I'm not watching it to make sure it's true. I just think it's funny. Like I think it's hilarious how his message from the video is like save money and don't spend money on things. I think he's genuinely smart. Like watching his videos, he has good advice.
But it's like it annoys me that he does those.
But he makes such juvenile thumbnails and titles, even though it's really genuine good information.
Yeah.
The advertising is so like how I spend $0 a day. When clearly...
See, that annoys me so much that I refuse to click on the videos. I used to watch him, but then I realized he's gotten out of control, and I don't want to support that.
I don't know what it is, but something about his mic is just like overly loud that makes me laugh.
Really?
And I want to find a way to make a joke or a bit about that into the tech video where like his eyes are all red and like a devil. And in some video where I somehow have to segue into clicking the like button, I would just cut to him and the audio's all peaked out or something like, and if you guys are interested in seeing my perspective on the iPad, click the like button. And it gets super loud.
Yeah,
like the people who watch him would find it hilarious, but
yeah, he's really blown up though.
Yeah, he has. But I think it's mostly deserved. Have you ever seen his videos where he's like interviewing other real estate agents?
No, I don't think so.
Like the $25 million man, and he's standing and is a big guy from New Jersey.
I haven't seen it yet.
I can tell he's interested in what they have to say, but he needs to work on his listening face.
Why? 'Cause
anytime he goes to talk to these millionaire real estate agents. He's always going. They're talking.
Like very straight face?
And he's just. And I'm like.
Angry?
It's something my mom taught me. You have to show someone you're listening. Otherwise, they just feel intimidated.
But if you're looking at them, isn't that showing?
Yeah, but he doesn't have a natural listening face.
What
he
if
has
he's like a serial killer?
What's that term called? RBF? I don't want to say
RBF.
Yeah. Like he has not I'm not calling him that. I'm just saying he has my dad and me have it too. It's like when your face is in its neutral default position, you're angry. You're like.
No, I definitely have that too.
But when someone's talking and explaining something to you, there's things you can do to let them know you're listening. You know, you can be like,
try to be attentive.
Or show you're interested. And whenever he interviews these people, he's always going.
Yeah,
and I'm like, lay off.
I haven't seen the interview, so I wouldn't know.
And it just made it awkward because he's like, this is my beautiful house. This is my giant kitchen. We have several kitchens. And he's just like,
yeah.
Okay. I'm like, show him that you're interested. Whatever.
So speaking of investments.
What about it?
Well.
What's this segue?
It's not really a segue.
Okay.
I added on the list. I wanted to hear you build your dream Tesla from the ground up.
Dream Tesla?
Yes. You've been talking a lot about the truck lately, so I don't know if that's your new dream or what.
Sneak peek for the next Talos of Tech podcast. It is just about Tesla.
Is it really?
Else. Nonstop. For one, the phone world is very boring this week. There's very little happening in mobile. It's like, this knockoff of AirPower came out. Yeah.
Did you do a review on that?
I did it on the Talks channel. I didn't do it on Tech.
It wasn't big enough.
Well,
it looks
I
like
didn't think it was big enough because it was a cheap and it's not very reliable and it's very basic. But then Marquez did a video on it, and now everyone's
of the same one.
Yeah.
See, you should have just.
So now
gone
everyone's
for it.
like, oh, so I guess it is mainstream. So now I'm like,
you should have just gone for it.
Marquez did a video on it, and then Sam did a video on it. So I don't want to do a video on it because now I feel like I'm just following the trend. I got to find some other topic. Maybe I'll talk about the truck again, but yeah, the pickup truck sounds interesting.
Is that your dream Tesla?
I need to see it first. I'm kind of like you because he did say in podcasts and in interviews about it, it's like arguably a pickup because it's so drastically different in design that he said it's like it may not be what it doesn't look like what most trucks look like. Oh. It's like a different design approach. I don't like the
sound of that.
Yeah. You don't like the idea of a new design?
Yeah, I feel like trucks, are all American, that sort of design. Maybe they're not. But I remembered when I was living in Australia a couple years ago. Yeah. They had these really, I don't even know how to describe them, but it's basically a sedan, but the back of it had a bed like a truck. So it was like a tiny truck, but the size of a sedan. And they had them all over Australia, and I thought it was the ugliest thing. And now I feel like Tesla's going to do that. They're going to bring the Australian market over here with these ugly trucks.
I just feel like they haven't really made an ugly car, in my opinion. Like, all of their cars have definitely prioritized the sporty, cool, fast aesthetic. They didn't want to make a minivan. Even the giant, like, bulky car that sits 7 people, like, even that one looks kind of sportsy. And
that one looks like a minivan to me.
The Model X?
Yeah.
With the doors?
Yeah.
That looks like a minivan. It looks
like a mom car.
I think it's just the ultimate family car. Well, moving back to this
family car
dream Tesla thing, what's the parameters? Like,
it must be a Tesla.
Well, yeah, but
then that's it. That's the only parameters.
But do I have to use tech that exists, or do I?
Well, yes, you can't be like, and it goes to the moon.
Okay, yeah, that's all I'm checking with.
Okay.
Dream Tesla would probably be the Model 3 with autopilot and full self-driving. No.
Why not the Model S? It's like,
I don't like the inside of it.
What's different?
I've been in one. There's 2 displays. Okay. The center display is in portrait mode, not landscape. And then there's a display behind the steering wheel. And the design looks more basic to me. It has like the standard AC vents and everything. And we sat inside the Model S that one time. We went to the Tesla store.
Oh.
We tried all of them. Really?
Well, I don't remember too much of it.
Well, we got more time with the 3 extensively when Nick and Randy came by.
Was it the same day we got married? No, that was the day after.
It was a honeymoon, yeah. I think it was the day after.
Yeah.
But
that was fun.
I think no, I don't think minimalism looks cheap. I think it looks minimal. That's what I like about minimalistic designs is you try to have a more dynamic adjusting display and dynamic interior. You don't need all these knobs and distractions and fans and vents, and those things break and those things get stuck and you have to close them, and that's what I'm so used to. I'm glad that Tesla is the kind of company to change things that not necessarily need to be changed, but they just want it to feel different as an experience. And that's why I prefer it, even if they were the same price, I would still go with the 3. The one thing, if we're talking dream Tesla, I would probably change is I would just swap out, if money was not a factor, I would swap out the Model 3 battery with some kind of longer range battery. Give it like I'd say 400 miles, even though that's not a thing yet. He says it's very close.
Good.
And it's...
Well, tell me, why don't you like the Roadster?
The Roadster, I like the range.
Like 600 miles.
The range is great.
600 plus?
Not much else, in my opinion.
It looks pretty flashy and nice.
It does look cool,
and
but
it
I also
probably makes you a target, too, when you're driving.
I have to wonder what the Roadster would do to your insurance. Probably not anything nice. I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a $250,000 car.
I would like to drive this $200,000 car. They're probably gonna do something with your insurance. But it's a 2-door for one, and I have a hard time understanding why anyone would want a two-door car.
It is technically 3-door if you jump through the trunk.
The frunk.
No, not the front.
It is a 4-seater though.
The brunk.
Which
What's the back trunk?
The regular trunk.
That's
just
what
a trunk. Sorry.
And then you said frunk.
I don't like that there's no door handles.
There isn't?
Mm-mm.
How do you open it?
So there's a little piece of glass on the bar behind the driver's seat.
And you just like...
And there's a tiny little touch panel that you swipe down on and the door just opens.
Oh.
So you have to swipe on it and then the door opens.
I feel like I would break a fingernail doing that.
Well, I feel like in the cold it would get frozen over, or you have a glove on, or...
I mean, regardless if there's a door handle or not, the door could freeze.
Yeah, but if it's a mechanical door handle like the 3, you can still push on it and pull it out and open it. Yeah, or the Model S door handles, the Model S door handles can push themselves out. So with the X, you just push in. The Roadster door handles are like, what? You have to like, bzz. What if your finger's wet? It's like, I can't see his finger. It just seems weird to me. And also the display looks awful on the Roadster.
What does it look like? I'm actually not familiar.
For one, it's portrait, not landscape. And I like the simplicity and the minimalism-esque design of the 3, how they just put everything on.
The 3 was portrait as well.
Landscape, like
really?
your MacBook.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a 15-inch
I really
display.
Don't pay attention.
Yeah, we drove that thing around for a while. You remember?
Yeah.
Let me find a picture. You guys can look it up yourselves.
You never fully answered my question though. So build it from the ground up. I want to know what color you like, what specifications.
Last time I talked
tire.
to you about what color you would want, because I don't think there's a color that's bad.
Forget I exist. What do you want?
Well, ever since you said that you liked the red Model 3, that's when I was like, yeah, me too. I want the red one. So now that's the thing in my head, although that is the most expensive one.
Well, you've been bringing up that you like the blue one as well.
I do, though the red is a multi-coat, which can help a little bit.
With what?
Just like chipping and aging and stuff.
Oh.
So the white and red are multi-coat. The blue isn't multi-coat. This isn't a great picture, but it kind of gives you the idea of what the inside of the Roadster looks like. And the center display has huge bezels, unlike the 3, which has very, very,
that looks really weird. Why does it look like a game controller?
Yeah, it's got the, what's it called? 3 and 9 steering wheel. So you have to hold it like that. Which I believe is illegal in Europe. So I don't think they'll be able to get away with that if they want to sell it there.
Why would that be illegal in Europe?
They want you to be able to have grip on all sides. You can't release a steering wheel with just the sides. Thank you for the $1 super chat. Kazim?
Azim Siddiqui.
Why are they screaming about hatchbacks? I don't get it.
Hatchbacks?
Something about hatchbacks. But dream Tesla, I would say white interior, red exterior. Full self-driving, which currently, like, if you're like Randy and you're buying one right now, there's no disadvantage to buying full self-driving after checkout because there's the same price.
Nice.
So it's $6,000 before or it's $6,000 after, but that could change. So
that's true. Hopefully Tesla is not bankrupt by the time we can afford it in like 15 years.
No, the revenue event was pretty promising. So
was it?
Yeah.
What did they talk about? We finally made
earnings.
Money.
Yeah, they announced how the Model 3 is the highest selling car by revenue, as in like the most amount of people who are buying more expensive cars from cheaper cars are the Model 3. So in regards to just what people are willing to pay, Model 3 on the high end, it's one of the best selling cars in the U.S. in more recent quarters if you compare it to other.
And what, like amount of cars?
Yeah.
Number of cars or
and
the
just
amount
quantity.
of revenue?
If you look at what other cars are selling right now, they're one of the highest. Or the highest, I forget. But
yeah, I remember you made a prediction a while back to me that Teslas would become as common as Hyundais in the year 2050.
Did I say Hyundais?
You said Hyundais.
I thought I said Prius.
I believe you said Hyundais, but maybe it was Prius.
Okay. What year?
2050.
Yeah, I could see 2050.
That's like 30
I was going to
years from
say
now.
10 years from now, they'll be about as common as a Prius. But, yeah, I love the 3's design. I'm fascinated with the pickup truck, though, just because of the specs that Elon has given us. You know, like he said between 400 and 500 mile range and a starting price of $49,000, which I think is impressive for an electric vehicle. That's like unheard of. Something with that kind of range. And, the best range on a Tesla you can buy now is the Model S. That's $85,000, and it's a 370 mile range.
Is it really the best?
If you ignore the Roadster, but you
Not
can't
the
buy the Roadster or the Semi. The Semi has a 500 mile range.
Wow.
But it's
Semi looks so ugly.
Really?
It looks like.
I think you saw an ugly Semi, but that's not all of them.
Don't they all look the same?
No,
don't they all have the same face shape?
I'll show you some of the ones
Avatar
off
for some reason. Like the
Which Avatar?
The blue ones.
Oh, okay. Semi truck reminds me.
They have like weird flat faces.
Let me show you some good pictures. That wasn't a good picture.
It's like
of
a cross between what regular semis look like and like a Volkswagen.
It definitely looked like a prototype model because it wasn't glossy. It was a matte finish and it was like a short version. See, that's like the flagship one.
Okay, I guess the side view looks better.
Well, when polished. When it looks, normal.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty cool. That's the best looking semi truck I've ever seen.
Oh, it looks like a train, kind of. Like
and
a giant train.
And they kind of sell them like trains too, because they say the autopilot features. You can have one driver and then 2 semi trucks behind it that are just following that semi truck via autopilot. That's how they pitched it.
But they're separate.
Mm-hmm.
What if one gets stuck at a red light? That would suck.
They all stay. Look at the driver's seat though. Isn't that cool?
Why? What's the point of the person?
Well,
the point of this
because full self-driving is
itself?
not completely ready yet, and plus semi trucks are a little bit more complicated. But the dual display thing is impressive to me. Like you sit right in the middle, and you've got 2 screens on either side.
Yeah, you play Angry Birds on one side.
I'd put Twitter on one and Discord on the other.
Right. Danny says you should get a Tesla GoFundMe. Honestly,
we talked about it, but we don't need it.
It would take like 50 years for him to raise that much, and it might be easier to just work for the money.
Yeah, it's really not a matter of money. It's just a matter of priorities right now. That's the main thing.
That's true.
Just buying the things that matter first, and then, buying the
priorities.
Toys. Exactly.
Like going to see Toy Story 4 this week.
That's right. Are we going to see that? Are you a big Toy Story fan, Louise?
I do like the Toy Story series. I thought it ended with the 3rd one. I thought that was like a good ending.
Yeah, I think we all did. And I think it should have ended with the 3rd one. I'm a Pixar fan, but not like I used to be. I don't like the more recent stuff they've been doing.
Was Coco Pixar or is that Disney?
Yeah, that was good. It's not like they're all bad, but I just feel like there's a lot of not so great Pixar films these days. Up was great. I consider that classic Pixar.
WALL-E is too dystopian future for me.
To me, Pixar is all about post Cars 2 and pre Cars 2. Everything pre Cars 2 was a classic, and everything post Cars 2 is kind of
money grab.
Yeah, there were good money grabs, but they're just not what they used to be. And Toy Story 4 should not exist. I don't care.
I'm really glad I've never seen Cars 2 because I heard it's bad.
It was bad. It was pretty bad.
Isn't there a Cars 3 too? I mean, not 3 2, but like
there's a Cars
also.
3, which I watched. It was better than 2, but it still wasn't very good.
Wow.
And I have to ask, like, why are you doing a 4? Honestly, like 3 was such a perfect ending. It was such a good conclusion that wrapped everything up and tied everything together. And I was like, and the kids who were around for the original Toy Story were like going to college when Toy Story 3 came out.
Yeah.
So it was like appropriate with the times it adapted.
Yeah.
But 4 is like,
well, this is
I guess we're still here.
The college age kid's little sister who's watching the movie now, just like the little girl in the movie, right? Because she's still little.
I disagree. I don't think it was ending Andy's story. Andy was kind of a backdrop for most of Toy Story. I think it ended everyone's story. To me, it's like undeniable that you could have ended the trilogy there and everyone would have been fine. It's like Peter Jackson coming out in 2019 and saying, I want to make Lord of the Rings 4. It's like,
weren't there like 8 of those?
Well, there was 3 Lord of the Rings, and then there was 3 Hobbit movies that were rushed and
that's
not
way
thought
too
out.
many.
But
remember when we tried watching the Lord of the Rings series?
Yeah. Well, I've seen them a million times, but
I don't think we finished the first one.
Well, it's it's a 9-hour commitment or something.
Yeah.
It's not 9 hours. It
and
feels like 9 hours.
We had to stop it every 5 minutes so you could explain what was happening.
Well, I know why they're doing 4. It's because they want money, and all the main actors for Toy Story could knock out all their lines in about 3 hours, and then they all get $5 million. So they probably all came together and said, y'all want to just make some money today? Sure.
I'm looking to buy a new boat.
Let's just do Toy Story 4. It'll pay for my next house.
Yep.
Real quick. And you're right. People will keep watching them. I wish they could. I don't know. Don't give in.
We're going to give in.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Do you want to watch it together?
I don't know. You usually go to premieres with like your friends.
Yeah, but I go for Star Wars and Marvel. I don't know if I'd go for Toy Story.
Oh. Let's wait for it to come to
I need to see it with a
Prime
family
Video.
member. I'll go see it with you if you want to go, but I just know that you're not interested in going to the theaters that often. But if Emily, my sister, wants to watch it, or my parents want to go watch it together, because it's like nostalgia for me. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't see it by myself. I wouldn't see it with Wyatt or Dan. That's for sure. We'll go see the new Spider-Man. That's for sure.
When is that coming out?
July 3rd or 4th or something like that, around the corner. But yeah, I'll go see that. But yeah, it's harder to get me to go out to the theaters these days. Pixar at least. Disney kind of impressed me more recently with their animation.
Was there something we watched recently?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was.
Oh, Aladdin. Is that Disney?
Oh, well, yeah. It's not the animation department, but that was good. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a unappreciative, unthought out cash grab, and instead of it was a thought out cash grab.
Then they did really good with casting, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. They got people who could sing, dance, and act.
Yeah, it was like a good modern twist of a classic.
Yeah, no, it was entertaining. It wasn't as cringy as I thought.
Robin Williams. We watched like 5 Robin Williams movies. Like,
we did. What
recently.
Did we watch? Doubtfire?
We watched, Mrs. Doubtfire. Mm-hmm. We watched that one about the really smart guy.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Good Will Hunting. Yeah, it was something weird like that.
Goodwill.
It's an interesting movie, but I have no idea where they got the name.
Well, his name is Will Hunting.
So they called it Good Will Hunting.
Because he's hunting for goodwill or something. I don't know.
Oh, you just put it together. Oh my God, thank you.
I was
it
just
makes so
kidding.
much sense now.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Onward trailer.
What is Onward?
It's the next Pixar movie, and it stars Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
Oh my gosh.
Which they're good, but I mean, they're good because the writers make them good. The performances is...
Chris Pratt can do anything, I feel like.
Yeah,
we're watching Parks and Rec right now.
He's made it big, yeah.
And he's like, he was nobody back then, right?
The early episodes of Parks and Rec, which
He
we
was
were just
guest
watching, he was listed as
starring.
guest star.
Right.
He was in Zero Dark 30 very briefly. People miss
that an
that
old
easily.
movie?
It's definitely not too recent. It's not like 90s old, but it was in the 2000s, I think. I think they made it right after Bin Laden died.
Oh.
He played one of the Navy SEALs, and like no one, he was just some guy. He was just some actor, but then down the road when he got big, everyone's like, "Oh, look, Chris Pratt's in it."
Yeah.
Because I watched Zero Dark 30, and I had no idea Chris Pratt was in it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to look back when people get really famous to see like their old
Yeah.
nobody movies.
It makes you wonder too, like how many nobodies are you already watching that
Yeah.
haven't blown up yet? Isn't that kind of
wasn't
trippy?
Tom Holland like in the original Iron Man or something?
No, that was a lore thing. It wasn't an actual actor thing. There was a scene in Iron Man 2 where
The little kid meets him.
the kid has a toy Iron Man helmet on, and he's trying to stop one of the evil robots, and he holds up his hand, and the robot's about to kill him, and then Iron Man steps in and stops him, and he goes, "Nice work, kid," and the kid just watches him fly away. And there was a fan theory because later on with the Spider-Man movie, he's like apprentice to Iron Man, and they're like getting to know each other well. So there was a fan theory that was like, so was that kid, because he was in New York and that's where Spider-Man lives, was that actually Spider-Man all those years ago? And the directors were like, sure, why not? So the directors and
They
producers
should figure out who that
confirmed
kid
it.
is.
They should find that original actor.
Right. Like, where would you even
That'd be
find that,
interesting.
though? That probably wouldn't be in casting. In the casting list.
It would probably be on IMDb. He's probably some drug addict now. Who knows?
Oh,
I don't know.
sad.
That's usually what happens with those tiny actors. Oh, what do they do? Oh, dang it. Frozen 2. I don't know if I'll watch that.
Speaking of childhood movies and memories,
Yeah.
you did a stream last
Yes.
week reading
Just a
some
couple days
childhood
ago.
books.
That was fun. That was a lot more
I
fun
wasn't
than I
able
thought it
to
would be.
watch it, but give me like a rundown of what you were reading.
Is anyone in the chat tonight? Was anyone there for the childhood books reading? That was interesting. There was a ton of lines that I'm really surprised my teacher let me write.
Oh,
they
these were like
probably-
school projects? I
Yeah.
thought you just did them like...
No, these were fourth,
For
fifth
fun.
grade. No. These were like you had to do them for school. And there were a ton of lines where I was like, ooh, this is not appropriate. From a fourth grader who's not family friendly. The plot was so dark and kind of I mean, I wasn't expecting it. When you're 12, I think you think you're a lot older than you are. And then when you look back at it, you're like, oh, you're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No, I remember being 12 and thinking like, oh, I'm so mature. I'm
Yeah.
more mature than anyone my age.
That age is interesting because you're like, I'm only a year away from being a teenager, which basically makes me an adult, so I can do whatever I want. So
also, adults always say, wow, you're so mature for your age. And then it gets to your head. You're like, I'm like nobody else.
I'm better.
Yeah.
I'm more mature than
But give
everyone.
me one of the stories.
Well,
Which one was your
story
favorite
was
one?
basically like a very generic superhero story about 12-year-olds who a 12-year-old is like perfect, but his dad is depressed and he doesn't know what happened to his mom. And then one day he comes home and his dad has been murdered and locked up in a closet. And so he runs away from home and then realizes he has basically telekinesis powers. He can move things.
Wait,
So
he
he
runs
starts-
away because his dad got murdered?
Mm-hmm.
What about his mom? Shouldn't he be there for his mom?
His mom was gone his whole life.
Oh.
He never knew his mom. And
Wait, why? I need to
Well,
know the backstory.
he was always asking his dad what happened to mom, and the dad would never say. He was
should-
just quiet.
He should have just said she died when she gave birth to you.
Well, he finds that out later from his twin brother, who also has powers. And
And the powers bring them together.
kind of.
You know that one Will Smith movie when he was a superhero?
I Am Legend.
No.
Hancock.
Yes.
Yeah, I am
I
Hancock.
was thinking.
I am Robot
I was
Hancock.
thinking I Am Legend as well.
I am Robot Hancock
he-
Aladdin.
No, stop.
Bad Boys. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Go ahead.
He and then the other, like his other half, who is also a superhero, like no matter how hard they tried, they always like were attracted to each other and like
throughout all these timelines.
Yeah, forces brought them together. So was that what happened with
No,
these
this was more,
twin
they
brothers?
weren't immortal. They were being born into the world, but they were just genetically advanced. Like they
by
had
nature?
Yeah. I referred to them as a 12-year-old as Homo superiors versus Homo sapiens, which I think I got from X-Men. It felt like a very X-Men movie reading
Homo
it.
superior.
So they were like, his brother, who's basically evil because he thinks Homo superiors need to rule the world. So he's like, let's kill all sapiens.
This sounds like a really extreme pride parade. Homo superior. Sorry.
Well, it's basically the plot of X-Men, because that whole thing is between Professor X and Magneto, and Magneto.
I don't know any of these people.
Okay, well, it's basically the same idea. Magneto wants to wipe out all the normal humans.
Was he the guy in a wheelchair?
No, that's the other guy. Professor X is saying, like, we need to work with the humans, and Magneto's like, you need to kill all the humans.
X-Men or Fantastic Four?
X-Men.
I always get confused with those.
They're very similar, yeah, with the mutants and stuff. But the plot was basically, okay, he wants to kill everyone. We don't want to kill everyone, so how do we stop him? Well, go to your school, kidnap a pretty girl, and then present the pretty girl to the evil guy, and hopefully they fall in love because...
And his heart, the shell around his heart is broken.
And they, using the main character's telekinesis, made the bad guy think she had powers by making her fly around with his powers, but she doesn't.
So that he would trust her.
Right. And then he's like, wow, you're great and you're super. Let's we're the best.
And you're so pretty.
You're so beautiful. And at the same time, like in the book, the girl is like totally into it the whole time, which was super unrealistic.
So she liked
She's
the
like,
villain?
wow, he's so handsome. And he's a twin brother of the main character. So
secretly, the main character was like resentful. I wanted the girl.
Right.
Dang, this is like super like, how did you think of this as a 12-year-old?
I had a lot of time on my hands.
I think you just don't have a normal brain.
People were complimenting it. They were saying like,
yeah, sounds very interesting.
as Scott said, spoiler, the plan works flawlessly, which was the hilarious part.
What?
Is that like most movies, they have the main plan, but it doesn't work out, so they have to come up with something else at the last minute. In this book, they come up with a main plan, and it just works, and then it ends. It's like, so
that's
once
great.
he realizes that she's Homo sapien, he'll decide to not wipe out the Earth. And then she presents herself, and she's like, so I really like you, but I'm actually not Homo superior.
Wait, so you talked about the plan before it happened? Or like
well, you're following the plot from the perspective of the main characters, and they're like, here's the plan.
There's not a narrator who's like omniscient.
No, it's first person. Okay. It's like, I did this, I went through this, and we're like, here's how we're going to save the world. Present this pretty chick to the bad guy, and he'll fall in love with her and then want to not kill everyone. And then she's
Except
like,
that never works out. Women don't solve issues with
well,
men.
here
evil
it did.
Men.
Maybe with 12-year-olds.
I guess.
So she's like,
brains.
so I'm actually a Homo sapien. Please don't kill everyone. And he's like,
darn.
Yeah.
Well, we're married now, so I got to listen to you.
You got me there, so I'm not going to kill you, I guess.
So they're all 12-year-olds?
Well, because I was 12 when I wrote it, and I was like, that's a mature age. That's when you're capable. I think there was a line that said something like...
Capable of falling in love.
I left home because I was 12 years old, basically a man. That's a legit line in the book.
Oh, my goodness.
And I laughed so much reading it.
I'm trying to think. What was the most mature thing I did as a 12-year-old? Well, I flew to Puerto Rico by myself.
That's at 12?
Yeah.
That is pretty adult.
I mean,
I didn't do that.
They made me wear this little lanyard thing that said I was a minor, but other than that, it was kind of fun. Was it not obvious? Did they have to make you wear that? Is that a legal thing, maybe? I think if you're traveling by yourself, they have to, because like they wouldn't know if the guy sitting next to you is like your dad or something. But yeah, I remember doing that. It was like 11 and 12 because I went there twice.
We also watched another movie recently called Snakes on a Plane.
Oh my goodness.
Which I've never seen.
That's like a
I'm
horrible...
sorry, we're touching the table.
Sorry.
The tapping.
Tap, tap, tap.
I'm trying to figure out what's causing it, but I just don't know.
I think it's this thing that's shaking. Can you tighten it over there?
It's pretty tight. I think it might be the water bottle rocking back and forth ever so slowly. Well, some people don't hear it. Whatever. If we're talking, you won't hear it. I actually will say it looked like a really cheap, stupid movie when it was coming out. I remember the trailers for it and everything. But now, all these years later, finally watching it, it wasn't that bad.
No, I love that movie.
You loved it?
Yes.
I don't know.
I watched it multiple times when I was like 14.
Oh, really?
And 15.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Because I loved movies about planes. Like I watched Flight Plan, which is another kind of
Soul Plane. That's
I haven't seen Soul Plane.
I haven't either.
Well, I recently watched Airplane. Is it called Airplane?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Flight Plan is another kind of like, what are those movies
called? Is it a scary movie or is it a comedy?
Not kind of scary, but it's like you don't know what's going on.
Drama?
Exactly. Kind of drama.
Okay.
But there's like a word for it.
Mystery?
Psychologist.
Mystery? Sci-fi?
Not sci-fi.
Science mystery?
No. It starts with the...
Fiction?
P. Like psychology, psychiatrist.
I think I did review Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Psychological movie.
That's on movie reviews. Psychological thriller. That could be it.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Wait, I watched that with you.
Yeah, I did review it. I think it's on movie reviews.
That I wouldn't like it.
Did you like it?
I did.
Oh.
It
was okay. I didn't think it was great.
I probably enjoyed it more than you did.
Probably.
I like the princesses.
Yeah, which is like 3% of the movie.
I have watched the movie The Dictator.
Didn't we?
No, that's the interview.
I like how you knew exactly what I thought that was.
No, The Dictator, that's with the Borat guy. What's his name? Sacha Baron Cohen or something?
Totally lost right now. I don't even know what you're trying to reference.
Just really bad movies.
Okay.
Like inappropriate movies that
the interview was very
girl should not
inappropriate,
watch.
But pretty funny.
There are only certain moments that were inappropriate.
I wouldn't have liked the interview if it just came out, but I liked the interview knowing that North Korea got upset over it as a country.
Something...
Like that caused an actual...
Right. A movie caused political tension.
Knowing that Kim Jong-un and stuff was aware of this Seth Rogen...
Do you think he watched it? Probably not the whole thing.
He could have.
How would he understand it, though? They probably had to translate it.
There were... you know how they smuggle all kinds of movies into North Korea?
Yeah.
Well, the interview is like the number one smuggled movie. Like I saw...
How would you even track that?
I saw documentaries because they like attach... Well, because South Korea does it. Like arranged. They do it together. Like they get a bunch of people together and they attach a bunch of DVDs to balloons.
They don't even have movies or
they do.
TVs.
Well, they have TVs, but the broadcast is all...
How are they watching?
They have TVs. You should watch a Inside North Korea documentary. You'll get an idea of what it's like. I thought most of
them are like in labor camps and stuff like that.
A lot of them are, but it's the social awareness of their country state has become increasingly known because of how much stuff they smuggle inside. Like they all have illegal little laptops that they plug flash drives into, and the last documentary I watched, they were all watching the latest James Bond movie with Daniel Craig. They have a giant bag filled with SD cards.
Wow.
And they just brought it in and they just hand them out to people. And the interview was one of the top pirated movies they brought over there. They
by South Koreans?
Yeah, they attach them in balloons and throw them over the border.
Is there a physical border? I thought it's just like a line.
No, it's a fence. It's a mile long. It's a mile thick fence filled with barbed wire. And we should watch a documentary.
It's called the DMZ.
That sounds right. I don't know for sure, but it sounds something like that. I just like knowing that a dumb, basic comedy like that with... I mean, how they...
Consider that basic?
It was pretty basic. It was kind of high budget, but the Kim Jong-un character was hilarious in the interview.
And he was in The Office briefly.
Yeah, he was in an episode of The Office.
Jim, which is funny.
Yes. To answer your question, yes, you were correct, DMZ. I do know what YouTube poops are. Have I told you about those?
Are those weird things you watch about Spider-Man and they do weird things?
Yeah, I've been watching those probably longer than you guys have been watching them. I don't know how old you are, but that was like the first thing I watched on YouTube was YTP.
Didn't you used to make them?
I did used to make them. They are still out there. I'm not going to tell you where they
Somewhere
are.
out there.
Someday, though, there is some Andrew Erickson made YouTube poops out there. As Ross has a channel as well, which is still
If I
public.
just looked up Andrew Erickson YouTube poop, what would pop up?
No, it was way before. This was way before I filmed anything with a camera.
You filmed it with a potato.
No, I did YouTube poops. You just downloaded movie clips and re-edited them to be funny.
Copywriting?
Back then, there was no copyright thing. You just did whatever you wanted.
So how are YouTube poops still up if the copyright rules have changed?
It can get away with it depending on the movie.
It's like altered just enough. So
they can't monetize it, yeah. There's some really elaborate ones, though. They get really elaborate. Like the one Ross watched when he was here last. That one was like 40 minutes, and it had a story.
Yeah, you were telling me about
it. And it had a plot. And
it was like the entire Spider-Man movie, but there was like something changed about it or something.
Dr. Osborne was made a fruitcake.
I don't know.
And they had to animate the whole video so that he would be a fruitcake the whole time.
I watched part of it with you. I don't know if it was that one, but it was actually pretty impressive, the editing.
It's amazing how much work they put into it just for a funny joke. And they're not making money off it because it gets claimed. But, yeah, Ross loves that kind. I think he sent one to me yesterday. But, yes, we watched them a ton.
I guess there's no age limit.
I don't watch them very much anymore. Mm-hmm. It's too big a commitment. That's why I prefer meme compilation. Well, when you're editing a video, you need something to play for like 20 seconds and make you laugh and then stop and go back. I can't do that with a YTP because they're too in depth.
You have to like watch.
YouTube poop is like a meme that you have to commit to. It's like a 10-minute, 5-minute meme, whereas the dank meme compilations are like, okay, I need 10 seconds of your time.
Yeah. Well, you might miss one though if you're not paying attention.
Right, but you can easily pause it and not miss too much.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I listen to podcasts or audiobooks at work, and like I'm talking to customers, so sometimes I'm like, I can't like think and do this at the same time. So
your brain runs out of RAM.
Right, it's weird. Why does it happen?
I actually need multiple things going on quite often in order to keep me stimulated. I think we talked about this recently.
It's really bad for people to do multitasking
I have a
stuff.
Overstimulation problem.
Yeah.
Like I can't just focus on one thing. I need multiple things to.
Well, that's because you've trained yourself that way, I feel like.
Yep.
And now you have issues with like falling asleep or staying asleep, which is not a good issue to have, especially when you're so young. Like I understand when you're old, I guess it's harder to sleep because you got like creaky bones or whatever.
I disagree. My parents sleep fine in their older years.
They wake up super early.
Yeah, but they fall asleep at like 7. They would just.
Sounds like a dream. We should just go to sleep right now. It's almost 8:00.
Yeah, but it's your day off. This is your Friday.
Yeah,
for
that's
work.
True.
How's work going?
It's going okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for someone was asking about the Erickson videos. I filmed like 3 of them. I'm trying to find the motivation and self-will to edit them because
and the time.
Yeah, I have the time. I know I have the time, but I haven't made the time for it. I need to prioritize my life differently.
I was telling her how much you guys ask about it. It's a very common question. Well, no, it's fine. I just
want to start it again. And I'm going to. So this weekend, I'm going to edit at least one video.
I'll need to do some videos tomorrow. So while I'm doing that, maybe that'd be a good time to edit some Erickson vids.
Sounds good. And then we also want to start doing this more often. We're going to stick back to the 3 times a week schedule.
Try to.
No, we're not going to try to. We are going to.
We are going to. Staying on top of it.
And actually, we are going on a trip in a couple months.
It's not a super long trip.
No, it's not. But we're going to the Philippines to visit my family. So
and I've never gone this far in my life.
Yes. And we had a great time trying to figure out how to get your passport taken.
Yeah, that was a mess. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure, yeah. So Drew has never had a passport before. And his middle name was misspelled on his driver's license. So I thought...
Which had never been a problem.
Yeah, but...
We just kind of put up with it because it never made a difference.
But signing up for a passport, you kind of want everything to be correct between your birth certificate and your driver's license. The government is very particular about that.
They are.
And so I was stressing for so long But we finally got it figured out. He has a new license. We got his passport application in, so we should be getting it in like a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But we're leaving in like 6 weeks, 8
very,
weeks.
very end of July.
That's literally 6 weeks away.
It's coming up. It's a long time of traveling.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a 14-hour flight on the way there, or a 17-hour flight.
Mm.
And then we have
A boat ride?
a layover, and then another flight, and then a boat ride, and then...
There's 2 flights.
Yes, there are 2
Wow,
flights.
okay.
We're flying to Manila,
Mm-hmm.
and then to Cebu. And then I think it's going to be really interesting for you because you've never experienced quite that, I would say. You've been to Mexico.
That was
right?
I don't even count that because I was like 6 at the time,
Mm.
so it's not really.
Yeah.
I barely remember Mexico.
This will
Since then, I
definitely
haven't
be-
left the country. So yeah, it's gonna be a big trip. Lots of vlogging, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll document it
And hopefully Drew doesn't get mugged because
No, I
actually...
won't get mad.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm big, strong man. They wouldn't mug a big guy. They would mug the little people.
I mean, if they had a gun, I don't think it matters how strong you are.
But I have a gun too. Sneak it in my shoe.
2 guns.
TSA never sees
Lightning
the
and
shoe gun.
The shoe gun.
Lightning and thunder.
Oh, goodness.
This one comes after lightning. I've got 2 guns. Lightning and USB-C. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, my
That
goodness.
was bad. I had to do it.
Lightning, USB-C.
You know I had to do it to
USB
him. Thunderbolt 3.
Thunder. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm excited, though. It's going to be like a 9-day trip.
Yeah, so we're leaving on July 31st
I
and
got to
coming
start
back
making vids in
on
advance.
August 9th. Yes, next month, you got to buckle down and you can work as many hours as you'd like.
It'll probably take like 3 weeks in advance of prepping
Yeah,
videos.
well, let's start now.
Yeah, I got to make some. It's kind of difficult. I'm already having a hard time figuring out topics for tech videos. So it's going to be even more difficult to find a tech topic that's like timeless.
Yeah.
It's like you can make a video about this and it won't. And Elon said the pickup truck unveilings could be at the end of summer, and I'm really hoping he doesn't decide to do it while we're gone. That would suck.
We should live stream it from my village. There's like dirt poor people.
You could bring your whole family over. They all crowd around the little MacBook.
They're like, what's going on?
And they don't understand what he's saying. I think
Right.
it'd be kind of fun, but no,
I don't
just
think
mean
they'll have
like
Wi-Fi there.
you called me when you were there.
Yeah, from their pocket Wi-Fi, which they pay like, I don't know. The signal's just really awful.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's
it's
a
not
jungle.
good. It's just I like doing the live reactions for that kind of thing, and that's a big deal. So, that would be timeless. iPad Pro in 2019. One of them I had an idea for. People were asking about was Imac Pro review.
Oh.
Like
2
way
years
down
later?
the road. Almost 2 years, yeah. I technically got it like in the last day
like
of
December.
2017. It was like the very last day of
Really?
2017.
Did it come out earlier though? Or get unveiled?
No, I got it like as soon as possible.
Wow.
Like they said.
Did you drive to get it, or was it delivered?
No, it was delivered. We unboxed it in the
They
first.
delivered a giant thing like that to your office.
Yeah, I don't know
I don't
why they
remember
do that. I don't think they should ship $6,000 computers in the mail.
Yeah.
That seems
If that
iffy.
goes missing, like.
But now they're gonna top it with the Mac Pro. They're gonna ship $40,000 computers in the mail. We lost it.
$1,000 for the stand.
Sorry.
Imagine
Can you
if I
imagine?
lost the stand.
Well, UPS has to put a value on something when they ship it. Imagine if they're like, "What's the value of this?" $40K. They're like,
Can you even insure it to that high?
"We're
I
not
feel like
shipping
you
this on a
can't.
regular truck. We're gonna put it in
an
like
armored truck.
you know those Garda trucks
Yeah.
that they have at banks. That's what they'll ship the Mac Pro in. They're like, okay, let's make sure this doesn't get pushed anywhere. What if it gets robbed?
Well,
Might
that's why they
honestly
have
be worth it.
armed guards, I guess.
That Mac Pro must kind of be some kind of record for like value per kilogram
What?
per pound.
I mean, if they ship gold bars, probably not.
Can you buy a gold bar on the internet? Just like
Yeah.
$40,000 worth?
Probably.
And they'll just ship it to we'll put it in your mailbox. Someone's like,
If it's one gold bar, maybe it's not that big of a deal.
seriously, if someone left your Mac Pro on your doorstep and some
Ooh.
thief just stopped by, that looks expensive.
Yeah.
Grab
It already
40K.
sucks when someone steals your $10 Amazon package
Imagine a $40,000
Oh my
computer.
God. Hopefully if you have that much money, you have a camera right on your door. And
You have an armed guard at your door.
how would they handle that if it was stolen?
I feel like that's probably signature required at that point for that price value.
Right, but so you're saying if there wasn't someone to sign for it, they wouldn't deliver it at all. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, UPS says that.
Like, what if the truck gets in a car crash? Who pays for the Mac Pro then? The customer or Apple? UPS would pay $40,000.
I mean, if it's their fault. You know, UPS can be held liable for things called acts of God, which is basically if the weather was awful and your package was delayed, sucks
Thunderbolt.
for you. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of stupid, though. It's like weather, that's going to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
A little snow.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I guess.
Bum, bum, bum.
What else did we do today, Drew?
I think we did our first
Swimming lesson?
swim of the summer.
Drew taught me how to swim finally.
Oh,
No,
I
I'm just
did.
kidding.
Well, I guess we swam at the ocean, but this is our first like pool swim this year. So that was fun.
It's getting really hot in the hundreds.
It is. We
And
would
for
normally
you
have the
foreign
AC
people,
on right
I think
now.
that's like 30-something degrees Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
37? 40?
Mm-hmm. It's hot degrees.
Hot degrees.
So the pool was very refreshing.
And Drew and I were having a contest to see who could hold their breath the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And
I passed
lost.
out.
No, you did not pass out.
No, I think you made it 25 seconds.
Yeah, I was struggling.
Yeah.
I can't even sink. I can't force myself to sink. I just automatically float. So that part was hard in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then my lungs were giving out after like 20 seconds. So I came up for air.
And how long did I last?
Drew lasted a whole... Sorry, this sounds wrong. He held his breath for 1 minute and 15 seconds, which is 75 seconds. Exactly 3 times as long as I could.
I could have gone longer, I think.
Probably. At some point, okay, so...
I wasn't struggling. I was just like...
Yeah.
I think I won.
We were
and then I
in
came up.
the shallow end of his pool, or his parents' pool.
Yeah.
And I was holding him down with both of my hands like this. And like my feet were on the ground. But I was just thinking...
She's holding me down because if she doesn't, then I'll just float to the surface and then it makes it harder to stay under.
Yeah, it's just harder to like hold your breath. But I was thinking if someone like had walked or like one of his family members came up and seen me just pushing him down, because he looked like
it looked really bad.
It looked like I was drowning him.
Would not have been good for your political campaign if someone got a picture.
Yeah.
You just...
Louise for Parks representative.
Or what if you just happened to drown me that way? You're like, wow.
Like, how do you explain that to
5
someone?
minutes, really good,
we
honey.
were trying to hold our breaths, and I accidentally killed him.
No, like, I think the key to it is just to move as little as possible.
Yeah.
And just try to think about anything but breathing. So that's what I did.
Or
which
water.
is very easy.
It was weird because when I was holding you down, I could feel your body like pulsing. Like, it must have been your lungs or something. But I could sense when you were like getting to the edge of...
To me, it helps
the point of no return.
Exhale slowly over the course of holding your breath because it's
like a breath. It's half a breath.
The issue with holding your breath is your lungs is holding on to old air and it's not getting fresh air. So it's not as good as, fresh air, but at least it's pushing out the bad air, which can, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Drew's a scientist.
My guess is from long time experiences of holding my breath underwater, slowly, not a lot, but slowly pushing the air out allows you to last a little bit longer because at least you're getting that bad air out. But then you just get ready to inhale real quickly.
We should start training ourselves to like hold our breaths really long.
We used to have a family friend who would do that.
Really? How long could he hold his breath?
I'm trying to remember. It was a long time ago. I think he could do it for like 2.5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I think
monks are really good at it.
The record is like 9.
At, like, meditating and like slowing their heartbeats. I just want to get to a minute. Like that's my goal.
That's not hard. You could do it.
I can barely do 25 seconds, so that nearly killed me.
I bet you could do it today, just after a little experience. Just to try it a couple times, you could get to a minute.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to get to 60 minutes. I think that would be cool.
60 minutes? Just die.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could like jump in the ocean and just stay there for an hour?
Underwater?
Yeah.
The ocean kind of scares me.
Why?
I don't like not being able to see the bottom of something.
Like
lakes, oceans. I don't like anything.
I've known several people with that fear.
Touching my feet, like when there's seaweed, that's like the grossest.
Have you ever swam like in the middle of a lake?
Not in the middle, but like pretty far out, maybe like 40 feet.
Okay. Well, we in younger times we used to rent a boat.
Oh, I've done that, like paddleboarding and kayaking. And
no, like a motor, like an actual.
We got like a houseboat, and we were out in the middle of the lake.
Oh, I'm talking like a jet ski boat, the kind you would tow an inner tube from.
Yeah, I've also done that.
Okay, well, we went way out into the middle of the lake, and then we just stopped the boat, and we all jumped in the lake, and it's just, probably. How deep? Hundreds of feet?
I don't want to know what's at the bottom of the lake.
There's some big fish.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the stuff that's at the bottom of the lake?
How would you find out, though?
Have they found
them?
Yeah.
They go down there, like scuba divers?
Or they'll wash up dead.
Ooh.
Because they're what do you call it? Bottom feeders. They don't go up. They don't like the light. So you'd never have to worry about one coming after you. They don't eat people. They don't attack people. It's happened like never. But they're huge. They're like 6 feet long.
I think I have a phobia of that, whatever that's called.
The blobfish.
Thalassophobia.
But no,
fear of the ocean or something.
I don't have a phobia of it, but it's definitely uncomfortable because when you go out into the middle of the lake, you're like, oh, if I drop something, it's just gone now. Oh
my gosh. Have you ever seen those photos of what are those people in the Navy or the military? The Navy?
SEALs?
They have those, no, just like regular Navy people.
Okay.
They have those huge boats like USSR blah blah blah, and they are way out in the ocean, and they just open the back, like there's a little thing that pops up, and then all the guys just go swimming in the ocean.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That looks so scary. Like literally, if you dropped your watch, like goodbye.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And people were taking selfies. Like, I would not trust my phone out there.
Yeah, because you can swim just like you could in a normal pool. The difference is there's no floor to this pool.
There is a floor, but it's about 30,000 feet down.
Yeah, but it's basically non-existent.
Well, actually, how deep is the ocean? And
depends.
Well, the Marianas Trench is like 3 miles deep, 4 miles. Actually,
no, it's like 6 miles, right?
I have no clue.
I thought Marianas Trench was over the height of Mount Everest, which is close to 30,000 feet, and then a mile is like not even 6,000 feet. So that would be like 5-6 miles deep, right?
It says 36,000 feet. Wait, hold on.
So that would be like 6-7 miles.
Oh no, it's talking about the Challenger Deep. I don't know what that means.
I think that's the probe that searches the Mariana Trench.
So the Challenger Deep measured it at 10,994 meters, which is 36,070 feet. So I was close. I said 30,000.
Which is 6-7
miles. 5 miles? Because it's like 5,600 something per mile.
There's no floor because you're not going to get to that floor.
The U.S. system is so freaking complicated. We should just go metric.
Yeah, that would just complicate everything further. I do wonder though, why are there these differences? What caused those? Like why does Europe have the steering wheel on the other side? What's the root of that?
Because I think America just wants to complicate everything.
But I don't think Europe invented the car.
They existed before we did, didn't
they? Yeah, but cars came around after America was founded.
Okay.
So, and I believe Ford modernized the automobile.
First. Well, they had like horse-pulled carts and stuff. First car.
Yeah, but did they have a side preference for some reason?
I don't think it really matters, honestly.
Average depth of the ocean is 12,100 feet. Huh.
So the Marianas Trench is like 3 times deeper.
That's the deepest it gets.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think there was one last question that we can answer. Someone, I think it was Dylan, asked what our favorite movie is. Go. And then we're ending this. Ending it all.
That's a tough one. I have different favorites for different genres. Right now, Endgame. It'll change next month, I'm sure, but...
I'm so glad I didn't watch that.
What's your favorite movie?
I can only think of honorable mentions right now. I like
Okay.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Zombieland.
You really love Zombieland?
Yeah, I loved zombie movies when I was like 14 to 17.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, are you really judging me for this?
What? I just said Endgame, and you were like, "I'm so glad I didn't see that."
Yeah, because that's fake. Zombieland is like potential.
And then I'm like, "Really? You like Zombieland?"
Do you
and you're like,
remember
"Don't
when
judge
the
me."
world was supposed to end in 2012?
The world did end in Infinity War, and then they fixed it with Endgame.
Thanks
Spoilers.
for watching, guys. We'll be back
We'll be back
on
Monday?
Tuesday. No,
Tuesday. Okay.
it's Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this short hour, and we'll work on getting more topics to
And we'll
talk about.
Chat with y'all later.
Yep. See you in
Bye-bye.
the next one.
Take care.
Bye-bye.